Secure 65 health plans where seniors thrive.
Austin's Cartoons is the best. It was the best gift we received this new year. Thank you, Austin. Austin's cartoons are truly amazing. Happy New Year, Austin. Thank you for making us laugh.
New year, same Medicare confusion? Not anymore. Welcome to Austin's Cartoons. Insurance explained through storytelling, humor, and laughter you'll remember.
Secure 65 health plans where senior thrive. Secure 65 health plans where seniors thrive.
Do you know that being debt-free but cash-poor is not freedom? It's fragility disguised as responsibility. Watch now.
Do you know that time, health, and flexibility are assets you can't replace? Watch now.
Let's talk life, because today's economy demands a new strategy. Watch us now here at Secure 65 Health Plans.
Secure 65 health plans where seniors thrive.
Happy New Year, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Today's podcast is going to be about the biggest retirement lie, why paying off your mortgage after 60 can put you in danger. So let's jump right into it. I'm your host, Monet Swan, and now I have to be completely transparent with you guys because I was going to do this episode on 2026 Medicare changes and the fallout from 2025 with respect to Medicare Advantage plans. And then I thought, wait. I'll do that on Saturday. But you guys, I had an interesting conversation with a couple of friends of mine, one of which believes she is doing the right thing regarding paying off her debt and mortgage. Now, it really wasn't the time to become Sally's super financial professional or throwing out my credentials when our meeting was far from something that had to do with finances or anything with her personal retirement. So I said all that to say this. I could at that time, I said everything I could at that time without being aggressive, okay? But what I did do is I did become concerned with what she had been told about paying off her mortgage. So concerned that I decided to do a podcast about that topic and show receipts. Why? Because first, I care about her and I want her to enjoy her years in retirement, at least to the best of her ability. And two, I know once you cross that I paid off all my debts and my house line, well, you can't get that money back. And those fixed low interest debts are gone. So let's look into what is really happening for you and for her, because that's frankly something that few talk about. So let's get into the proof, shall we? Now, let me say something that may make you feel a little uncomfortable at first. If you are over 60 and you've been told that paying off your mortgage before retirement is the responsible thing to do, I'm just going to say that advice may be putting you at risk. Oh yeah, I know. Your parents told you this. Your grandparents lived by this. Financial advisors have preached it for decades. Never retire with debt. Pay off the house and you'll be free. Debt is bad. And if you spent sleepless nights staring at that mortgage statement, feeling guilty every time you had to write that check, don't feel like you're alone. But here's the question. Nobody, and I mean nobody, asked you, what if everything you've been told about debt and retirement is totally backwards? What if the advice that made perfect sense in 1985 is dangerous in 2025 and catastrophic to the best in 2026? Because after 60, the rules change, not emotionally, but mathematically. And today we're going to talk about the real risk retirees face. And it's not your mortgage. So, before we go any further, let me say this clearly. If you are over 60 and you are thinking about paying off your home, worried about healthcare costs, concerned about outliving your money, or feeling pressured by outdated financial advice, pause, call us, and let's talk life, because you cannot win today's financial game with a strategy designed for decades ago when interest rates were double digits and people didn't live 30 years in retirement. Now let's get into the truth. Part 1, why the old advice existed. Context matters. Let's be fair to history. In the 1980s, mortgage rates were 12 to 18%. Inflation, well, it was volatile. Retirement lasted 10 to 15 years, not 30. Healthcare costs were a fraction of what they are today. Paying off a 15% mortgage early wasn't emotional at all. It was intelligent. But here's the problem. We are no longer living in that economy. Today, well, many seniors have mortgages at 3 to 5% fixed. Inflation, well, it has averaged about 4 to 6%. Healthcare costs rise faster than inflation, and longevity risk is real. Living to 90 plus is common now. Using a 1985 strategy in a 2025 economy is like wearing a winter coat in August because it worked last season. Part 2, the biggest expense is medical, not debt. Okay, you guys, so let's stop dancing around this, shall we? The biggest expense in retirement is medical, not your mortgage, not your car, heck, not even your taxes. Medical costs, especially long-term care. That destroys retirement plans every single day, and I see it because it comes in our office. So here are some of the receipts I want you to keep in mind. Medicare does not cover custodial long-term care. In-home care can run $4,000 to approximately $10,000 per month. Assisted living averages between $5,000 and $12,000 per month. Memory care can exceed $8,000 to $15,000 per month. And nursing homes often exceed $100,000 per year easily. Some numbers you need to keep in mind. Now, let me say something plainly. You cannot pay a nursing home with home equity. You can't swipe your kitchen counter. You can't Venmo your roof. You can't hand over your deed and say, this should cover it. No, care requires cash flow. And this is where people make a fatal mistake. Part 3, the scenario no one warned you about, the emotional core. So let me paint the picture. You're 65. You write a check for $200,000. Mortgage gone. Ooh, you feel amazing. Relief, pride, and accomplishment. 3 months later, your spouse needs an unexpected procedure. Insurance only partially covers it. Or you need in-home care. Or your roof fails. Or your child calls in crisis. Suddenly, that freedom you thought you had turns into panic because all your cash is locked inside walls you cannot access quickly and may not qualify to borrow against. You can't reverse the check. You can't undo the decision. And time, well, time is not negotiable. This is where seniors are forced to sell investments in a down market, take loans at worse rates, beg for credit they may not qualify for. Being debt-free but cash poor is not freedom. It is fragility disguised as responsibility. Part 4, risk tolerance changes after 60. Now here's the mistake most people make. They use accumulation logic in a distribution phase. When you're 30, well, you can recover from mistakes. You can earn more. You can wait out downturns. After 60, you cannot replace time. You cannot replace health. And you cannot replace liquidity once it's gone. Your risk tolerance flips. The lower risk position is often low fixed debt and high liquid reserves. Not zero debt and definitely not zero flexibility. This isn't about liking debt. It's about surviving reality. That's what we do here at Secure 65 Health Plans. Part 5, the math financial advisors don't show you. So let's talk numbers, shall we? Let's do this calmly. I'm going to give you an example. Your mortgage is $200,000 at 3.5%. Annual interest, $7,000. After tax deductions, often $5,000 is the effective cost. Now compare that to $200,000 invested conservatively at 5 to 6%. Annual return, $10,000 to $12,000. So you ask yourself, why would you give up $10,000 in earning potential to save possibly $5,000 in interest? That's opportunity cost. And opportunity cost compounds. Part 6, inflation is paying your debt down for you. Now here's the part that feels like a secret. If inflation is higher than your mortgage rate, your debt is shrinking in real dollars every year. You borrowed expensive dollars. You repay with cheaper dollars. Paying off low interest debt early in an inflationary environment is volunteering to lose purchasing power. That's not my opinion, that's math. Part 7, market downturns and sequence of returns risk. So here's another nightmare scenario. You retire. You pay off the house. 6 months later, the market drops 30%. You need money, but your assets are down and your cash is gone. Now you're forced to sell investments at the worst possible time. This is called sequence of returns risk. and it destroys more retirements than almost anything else. Seniors who maintain predictable debt payments, strong cash reserves, can ride out downturns. Seniors who eliminate liquidity cannot. Part 8, debt is not the enemy, ignorance is. So let's be clear. High interest consumer debt is poison. Credit cards at 18 to 28%, come on now, eliminate immediately. But a low interest fixed tax deductible mortgage, well, that is not a burden. That is a tool. And the wealthiest, most sophisticated retirees understand this. They do not cling to debt. They manage it strategically. They preserve their flexibility, dignity, and autonomy. Part 9, estate planning, what it really is. Estate planning is not about dying debt-free. It's about controlling outcomes, protecting spouses, avoiding forced decisions, preserving dignity. If you die with a mortgage, the estate settles it. Your heirs are not personally liable. This is routine. But running out of money while alive, that is the catastrophe estate planning exists to prevent. Okay, you guys, now I have to ask you or say this. If this conversation is making you uncomfortable, sorry, that's good. That discomfort is awareness. If you've been given advice that ignores health risk, ignores longevity, ignores inflation, ignores liquidity, call us. Let's talk life, because this is not about winning an argument. It's about winning in your future. Part 10, giving yourself permission to live. Okay, let me say something human, if you don't mind. You did not work for decades to sit in fear of a mortgage balance while denying yourself life. Experiences have expiration dates, do they not? Health is a declining asset. Your children would rather remember you living to the fullest, more than inheriting a slightly larger number. Time is not negotiable. So let's talk about what this looks like. Paying off your mortgage feels like an accomplishment, but feelings don't pay for your long-term care, your medical emergencies, inflation, longevity, or anything else. Cash does. Flexibility does. Planning does. Debt is finite. Medical costs are not. And you cannot outlive your mortgage, but you can outlive your money. So I'm just going to be frank with you now and stern, okay? Because it's important. This is your life. If you've listened to outdated advice, if you've been told just pay it off, if no one, and I mean no one, has explained the math, the risk, the healthcare reality, think about this as long as you can, and let's talk life. Because today's economy demands a new strategy, and you deserve one built for now, not decades ago. So for all of my seniors, thank you for joining me on Secure 65 Health Plan today. I'm Monet Swan. I want you guys to have a happy and prosperous new year. Call our office at 833-300-4968. And for now, stay strong, stay happy, stay informed. And as always, stay golden. See you Saturday for information on what the hell is going on in Medicare 2526 and the do-overs. Love you guys. Bye.
Secure 60 fast class planes, we're saying fly. Secure 65 health plans where seniors thrive. 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 Secure 65 health plans where seniors thrive.
BibX Wealth Insurance Solutions.